Hello everyone, it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be making a card. I never show you a card before I make it. I forgot to hit the record button. So we're going to make this or a very similar one again on screen here because I was asked to do a video with this set. This is MayMay made it. I think it's called Ask, Seek, Knock. It was September's kit or stamp set for their religious stamp club. I get it every month, and I finally had time to play with this one, and I absolutely love how both cards turned out. At the end, I will show you both of them, and you can tell me which one you liked better. So my idea here is to create a small scene using two of these topiaries, a welcome sign, and this beautiful door. That door has so many options. I just cannot wait to pull out other stamp sets and use it with that door. Like, can you imagine a beautiful wreath on there? Or, well, I don't know, even heat embossed in gold, and then you cut it so that it opens and you put a beautiful sentiment inside, you know, the golden door. There's such beautiful sentiments that go with this set. Anyway, so my coloring here, before I get sidetracked, I wanted like cream bricks. So I used my E40s to do that. And I wanted the bricks to appear like one brick is set a little bit farther back, and then the ones that look longer, like they're sticking out a little farther. I think it worked out like that. But you tell me, what do you think? Did I get the dimension in the bricks that I think I was looking for? I also, when I colored this, scribbled outside the lines because the first card that I made, I was like, oh, I'm going to fussy cut this. And then I got to the bricks and I was like, you know what? Let's just cut a straight line. So I colored them in like as if the bricks continued. Now here, this door, if you want to practice adding dimension through shading, this door is perfect for that. It is tiny, so you have to use, the very tip of your marker, and, you can't just lay down the marker, but it is small enough for you to practice on and not waste a bunch of Copic ink, not feel like you wasted a bunch of time. It's like those panel doors, and I think I got the dimension that I was really hoping to see with some blue-green colors. And I had originally decided I wasn't going to, well, I was almost colored this red, and then I decided to color those flower pots red. But I decided to go with the aqua blue-green door again. And I just absolutely love it. I think it's like the most pretty door I've ever seen. Makes me want an aqua door. And the wood that I colored, I didn't like, it was wood, but not where you could see the wood grain. Like it had a nice heavy stain on it. I just thought that would look nice with the aqua door. So here I'm heat embossing the knocker, the door knocker that goes in the center of that top panel, and the word welcome that goes on that little rectangle sign. But I didn't want them to both be gold. In my original card, I only did gold embossing, but after looking at it, I decided I really wanted white for the welcome sign, like one of those fancy on Etsy welcome signs, like one of those ones. That's what I was thinking when I was embossing this. So I trimmed out all my pieces here, and you can see what I did with those bricks. I did leave that white space, but it's colored the same color as the bricks, so it doesn't stand out too much. And then I fussy cut all of my little images, making sure I got the little stick and the topiary because I almost forgot. So I trimmed all that out and set those aside while I took care of some other business. This is the sentiment that I was using. On the original card, I heat embossed this in gold, and I love it. I think it's beautiful. But since I decided to bring in that white for the sign, I decided I didn't really want everything to be gold embossed. So I brought in brown. This is the Hot Cocoa Hybrid Ink by MFT. And it's the same sentiment I used in the other one, and I do really like how that stands out against that cream cardstock. I did use cream there for the sentiment panel because I didn't want to bring in too much white. The welcome sign and the little topiaries, they do have their white border, but other than that, there really isn't too much white. Also, this strip die here is like a solid die, and you can use your pokey tool or whatever to poke it out, but you can also just use your sticky tape that you used it to hold it down to your paper to run it through your machine. A lot of times I use my purple tape or washi tape, whatever I use to stick it down, then I don't need to pull out my little pokey tool to do that. So here my layout got a little bit, or became a little bit different than my first one. I brought that flower panel all the way down, and then I thought it needed an edge. So I did cut this piece of like aqua colored pattern paper here, and I almost screwed it up. Look at the strip from the top of the paper wasn't all the way off the edge, so I had to move it really fast. In the end, you can't really see much of that, so it was really unnecessary to do, but it does finish off the edge of that flower pattern really nicely. So here I took that gold foiled paper and I adhered it to the red strip, adhered my sentiment piece together, and then I wanted to finish off the bottom. And on the original card, I had a little gold bow, and I picked that up, and then I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that. I was just going to leave it blank. That's not how things ended up. Now here's how I figured out where my spacing needed to be. What I did is laid my door down and then put that topiary in that goes all the way to the side. Then I adhered down this strip because I'm building my scene on that strip, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough space. So then I put the door in next to the topiary and then put the other topiary on the other side. And the little welcome sign, you know, those lean up against the wall when you see them in real life. So I put a little piece of foam tape at the bottom of the sign, and I actually positioned that so it does lean up against the wall. Those little details, they add so much to a card. Everybody's going to want to touch it. It's one of those things. So I added foam dimensional tape to the back of my sentiment, and then I grabbed this little piece of leftover die cut from the original card, and I trimmed off 2 little banner ends. I wanted to fill that space. The reason my circle is as big as it is because that sentiment is as wide as it is. And I just wanted something to fill the space visually. So I used that little piece of green pattern paper there. And then I brought out I think these are actually called confetti. They're gold. They're, I don't know. They're like round, flat, almost flat discs with no hole in the middle. But it was another way for me to tie in that little bit of gold that I used on the door knocker and the little lawn fawn scalloped edge border that I die cut without having the sentiment have to be gold. So you get kind of that 3 or odd numbers, or I guess it's no longer really 3 because I have the sequins on there in multiple spaces, but it helps your eye move around the card visually. Well, eyes are visual. It helps your eye move around the card, in my opinion. So that was it for the sequin things. I don't even know what those are. I think they're called confetti. And then I adhered this to a brown panel. You've seen that there was that scallop cut out of the back because why waste paper? No one will ever know. So here are the 2 of them together. Here is a close-up of the door. The door is colored the same on both cards. Here's where they differ. The original one has this little bow. The second one has this little banner. I think the banner looks cleaner, but I'm not making cards for me. So here is some of those details where you can see that little sign and the topiary there. The stand-up still shot of each of the cards. I'd love to know which one was your favorite. And do you ever just make kind of sister cards like this? And as always, thank you for stopping by, and give cards generously.